Yo, what up? What up? So happy to have you here. This is going to be absolutely amazing. And I just can't wait to talk about everything that is going on with DC lately. It is so crazy to think about because there is so much stuff happening with DC. And I'm honestly baffled that they're going in this direction, but I also love that they're going in this direction. I love that James Gunn has came out and said a lot of stuff about like Green Lantern being a TV show and having it kind of lead into where they're going in the long run, as well as all of these movies leading more and more into different, like going in different directions, but bringing together this entire universe. And I can't wait to see what we talk about tonight because this is going to be legit. Thank you for tuning in. And if you are watching this on the replay, thank you for watching this on the replay because that's absolutely amazing. That's how we get a ton of people just like you to get involved. So without further ado, check out this brand new intro that I just created just for the hell of it. Why not?
On this episode of Loungers Assemble, Spider's Lair says he's chilling.
I'm chilling. All right, that looks good, actually. There we go.
Alex still doesn't show his face.
It's like if I told someone to start with Flash, I tell them to
And
start
I talk about the
season 1,
Flash.
2. All right, there you have it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Alex, what is up?
I see how it is. Yo, I still show my face occasionally, homie.
There he is.
Just I come home late and I eat dinner. I know you guys don't want to see me eating.
I got you. I just wanted to play around. I was like, what can I say about Alex?
I like that, though. I like the still doesn't show his face. It's like, fair enough. It's going
Definitely.
good. I just finished eating dinner. And, yeah.
How's life treating you?
It's treating me good. Really good.
Nice.
Ready for Singles Awareness Week or Awareness Day, aka Valentine's Day.
You know, I've been single for plenty of Valentine's days in my life, and I've always found that sometimes it just seems to be good.
Yeah, it does. You don't have to worry about making plans or anything. Just sit home in your sweatpants and just watch TV.
Exactly.
And then cry. Then cry yourself to sleep. But then everything's fine afterwards.
So what you got to do is you got to go out on February 13th, Desperation Day. Find all the single ladies who are desperate for someone, and then don't be in a relationship with them by February 14th, and you get all of the romance out of the way and don't have any issues.
You know, it'd be funny though. It's like, hey kids, want to hear a funny story happened to your mother? It's like I met her on February 13th. She was desperate for love, and I guess it's worked out. That'd be like a messed up story to say about the parent. But nah, it's fine though. Valentine's Day is just another day. Yeah, it only matters when when you first start dating. That's what I was
Greetings, everyone. What's up?
Alex, do I got to play the intro again to show him?
Yeah, play the intro again. Show that.
Episode of Loungers Assemble, Spider's Lair says he's chilling.
I'm chilling. All right, that looks good, actually. Chilling.
Alex still doesn't show his face.
It's like if I told someone to start with Flash, I tell them to
And
start
I talk about
season
the
1, 2.
Flash.
Yeah.
I like how you're doing the exact same thing in the intro, like right now.
That's funny. That's good.
So I feel like I'm just
Good
gonna keep
guys.
making those for like each episode, and that can be
Chris?
like the intro
Sure.
into the next episode and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
like
why I'm
that
showing my
idea.
face. Chris roasting me too much.
So
was
join us on the next episode of the Comics Lounge where we getting down. There you
Hey,
go.
yo.
There's your next intro.
Do you guys have anything planned for your Valentine's Days with your others? Or you're
Yes,
at that
I do.
point where you don't need to press them anymore?
Nah, you crazy? You have to still take them out to dinner and stuff, but we're not doing it on Valentine's Day. We're gonna do it on Sunday. We're beating the crowd, you know. We're not
There you
gonna.
go.
But you're entering another crowd that's on the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, we thought about that, so we decided to go to like a nice upscale Italian restaurant. This way, the distraction of football will be there, but I'm pretty sure there's gonna be Super Bowl everywhere, wherever you
I was
go.
gonna
That
say,
day. So I
like-
ain't gonna worry about it.
What are you trying to say
I'll
about
put it to
football
you like
fans?
this: an early dinner, like, cause we probably want to be home for the Super Bowl anyway. So
Yeah,
You
so
know.
what are you trying to say about football fans? Like they're not
Oh no, I
classy.
love it. I love it. I want to watch it. I don't even know who's playing. Wait, is it Eagles and who else? I don't even know who's
Chiefs and
playing.
Eagles.
Yeah, okay. Eagles win. That's what I said from the
The
beginning of
Niners
the
would
year.
have won against the Eagles if the quarterback didn't get hurt. I don't follow
No.
football, but to be honest, that's because they would have won.
I could care less about it.
His
Yeah.
team's not
The
in.
the Bills didn't make it. I'm
Yeah,
not a
that's all.
football fan. Like I've never been a huge fan of the
Same.
sport. I've never been a huge fan of the league, but I love a good underdog, and I'm
Yeah.
from the Western New York area, so it's like I got to support the local teams. I mean, it is what it is.
The only time I watch
And
it is during the Super Bowl, but not even that. I just watch the halftime show.
the commercials have been crap lately. The
I
halftime
know.
show has been crap
Yeah,
lately.
I
What's the
only
point of
been
watching?
yeah, I only been watching it because of the commercials. And yeah, I noticed that since last year.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, it's been crappy
No,
commercials.
even more than that, it's been declining and everything. It's just they're not what they used to be anymore, and I miss
Ever
that.
since they got rid of the talking babies commercials and the Doritos commercials, it's just all went downhill.
Yeah, the Doritos are actually good. Well, I would say Budweiser with the dog and
Bring
stuff,
back Spud
Yeah.
the horse.
McKenzie
They do. They do.
and the
do
frogs.
good.
Budweiser, yo, that was like the best commercials. I
Remember the
remember that.
Budweiser horses too?
I know.
Yes.
Wait, what I
Oh.
don't like though is that it went downhill for me. Is when they gave the hamsters a new look.
For
I know,
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't like that.
Yeah, the hamsters
I didn't
like
like that
it's
either.
just perpetuating the idea that you need to be slim in order to look good. It's like the hamsters are not supposed to look like that. I mean, Jesus Christ, hamsters are round. That's what makes them cute.
Hamsters are fuzzy. I have like some guinea pigs. Yeah, I like the little things. They're a little meaty. You know, just in case the apocalypse goes down, you always gotta have a
What
little
the
meat farm
hell?
somewhere. Okay. I'll tell you what though.
Hey, that should be in the
No,
next
I'm
intro.
just skip
That should be in the next intro.
it.
Chris,
Peter's gonna shut
he
this
wants to
guy
eat
down.
hamsters. No, he wants to eat guinea pigs for the apocalypse.
They're gonna shut down the comic lounge. They're gonna send
No,
them
they're gonna
Peter.
cancel Spider Slayer at his work. He's like, we heard that you like to eat guinea pigs.
They're gonna find guinea pigs all cocooned in spiders' webs everywhere.
Wait, that'd be a whole different weird story. Like, why do you have a cocoon? That'd be weird. Oh, so you're
They
part
would-
spider. I knew it.
Exactly.
Wait, but spiders don't make cocoons though. They make webbing.
Well, yeah, but they make the web around the animal.
They cocoon their food.
I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When I think
It
of
dissolves
cocoons,
it.
I think of something else. Sorry. Yeah.
You know, it's all good. That's
So-
called cocooning. They could dissolve their food from within the cocoon, but they can also wrap it up like
Yeah.
for long storage. I mean, I know
So
a little
does
bit about
Spider-Man
spiders.
dissolve his enemies?
Wait, but no.
You
but-
know, the Savage Spider-Man may be the one who's doing that
Yeah.
because I haven't really read much of it, but for what I've been hearing and the little bit I read,
I've been
yo,
reading
Savage
it. It's so
Spider-Man,
good.
yeah, there you go.
I love
Yo,
the
Savage
covers.
Spider-Man's on a whole nother level. It's really intense, like you know. And I also recommend. I started reading it, and I gotta be honest. I mean, I would say I would recommend reading this, but I would tell everyone, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I
you
would
should
tell
read it.
everyone this:
It's
It's
legit.
good.
if you're gonna read the story, yo, prepare for like to talk about it or not talk about it. Just prepare to how mental is gonna make you. I don't know if you guys read the Bat Who Laughs. It's a lot of stories, so it's a lot of comics
I
you will
haven't read
have
that
to
yet.
gather together. It's horrible. It's horrible. I don't even want to talk about how horrible it is. It's pretty
How
much
horrible is it?
I don't want to do it. I
Don't
don't
do
want to
it.
do it. You know, but we could talk about it only for the fact that we're going to be talking about James Gunn. So, hey, James Gunn, this could be something you could do, but I doubt you would because this would have
Spider
to
Slayer
be
wants
like
you to make a movie of the Batman. Who Laughs.
beyond rated R. This would have to be like an NC-17. It's that brutal. The story
Whoa.
itself, it's that brutal. So pretty much what happens in an alternate universe. This is not the original universe.
Wait,
I
is
don't
it
even
Earth?
know which one. No, we're talking about DC, so I don't know what universe is
I
the
know. I
original
was
one.
messing with you.
But there's an
What?
alternate one, I guess, like I guess in Marvel. So in this
Yeah.
alternate universe, what happens is the Joker actually captures Batman, and he torments him and he kicks the hell out of him, and he takes him out like every couple of nights, and he reenacts the act of the parents getting shot, and he finds people and he shoots the parents and takes the kid. Every time they takes the kid, that's supposed to be Bruce Wayne. He gives that kid the toxin and makes them that little devil Robins that you see. Does this many times until Batman actually escapes, and then finally Batman kills him and cracks his neck. But when Batman does that, the Joker releases a toxin that gets into Batman's bloodstream, and it pretty much screws him up from that point on. He pretty much becomes a supervillain, and he has this. The reason why he wears the visor is because whatever the Joker did to him, he can now see auras. Like he can see people's evil. Like it doesn't matter how good you are. When he looks at you, he can see all the evil that you have going on. You know, so it's really a dark story because at one point he literally kills all the Bat family like in 2-3 seconds. He literally murders them, like
Yeah, I read
murders
about
every
that.
single one of them. Yeah. So I'm saying like I don't want to keep going into it because it's a really bad story. I mean, I think it's a great story. Would it be on a movie? I think it'll be too beyond to put on a movie. I would love to see it on a movie. Rated R for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Wait,
but
so why don't you want to get it? I'm messing with you.
You,
Like,
you can only do so much with the movie.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
certain
I mean,
things that just take it too far over the
yeah,
top, and
shooting,
you
there's
know,
scenes that
DC
just
won't.
don't work.
DC won't
Yeah.
Go for that. I don't think they will ever reach the rated R.
Even Snyder wouldn't have went that dark.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I like the comics in a way because some of them it depends on like what you really like. I mean, this
Yeah.
is like something that really like when I first started reading, I was like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah,
I was
like
well,
some some things.
this is like
shouldn't-
beyond dark. This is not even dark. I wouldn't even call this dark. I would just call it like to the point where he
Sadistic?
literally almost becomes a freaking god just so that he can
Psychosis.
show that he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
Wow.
good or evil no more. He's
Yeah.
right.
There's some
And
things
I'm
that
right
cannot be
by
translated from a
Yeah.
comic to movie.
yeah.
Whether
I mean, like
it's not possible or it's just like the content is too like
it's too
dark
much.
and everything.
Yeah.
It's too much that it will be very disturbing to actually see it like just see it play out like in motion.
Yeah. I mean, like there's a lot of good like the story itself. Yeah, I can't see that being in the movie. Would I like to see it in the movie? Absolutely. Would I think it would ever be made? Nah, it's too dark of a story. They will have to tame it down too much. I mean, it's
And then
possible
that
they can
kills
do it.
Then that kind
Yeah,
of
but
kills the
no,
story.
I mean if you do
Don't
it
you
right.
think?
Okay. That reminds me of the Spider-Man and Carnage and Venom when they did Maximum Carnage on the Spider-Man series, the anime series. I don't know if you guys ever watched the anime series.
Wait,
but
they did Maximum Carnage?
Yeah.
yes, they did. And it
Oh,
was
damn.
good. So
I
look,
haven't seen that.
so
I haven't seen that one yet.
Carnage was pretty much killing everybody, right?
Yeah.
But what they did was to replace that was instead of him killing his victims, he would absorb their souls like an energy.
Yeah.
So
Which
the
one was
body's still there, so they're technically dead, but Carnage was taking their souls
Which
instead
series
of
was
killing
this?
them. This was the Spider-Man anime series
From the 90s.
from the 90s.
so
the one that had Venom in it, and then it's like the first season was with Spider-Man. Then I think the second season he runs into Venom. Then
So
Venom and him
it's
making
not
an
Spider-Man
alliance, and then
Unlimited,
Carnage.
right?
I think
Not
it's
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
Unlimited.
Unlimited. No, it's not Spider-Man Unlimited.
Unlimited is
Spider-Man
the one that has all the copyright issues, so they couldn't actually use Spider-Man and they couldn't actually use Carnage. It was crazy
Yeah.
stupid, but yeah.
It's Spider-Man. It should be Spider-Man the anime series.
Yep.
Yes.
It's from 1994. There's like 7 different series. Morbius,
Mhm.
instead of being a bloodsucker, has like these suction cups on his hands
Yes.
that suck out the plasma from people.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I'm.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Oh, hold on, I found it. I'm just looking at Disney Plus right now to see if I can find that season.
See, so that Carnage, the reason why I bring that up is because Carnage in the comics, he's pretty much killing everybody.
Yeah.
But in
Yeah.
this, he's just taking their souls. And like he said, Morbius is just sucking their plasma out, not sucking their blood, taking out the plasma. Which that is the original way that he was supposed to be to begin with in the comics.
Mhm.
So I see what they did with that cartoon. I kind of liked it because I understood why they had to do it even back then because I knew the real story. And I was like, oh yeah, they can't have this on TV.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Especially in a kid's show.
you know, nice
You
kid
can
show.
put
and then,
Black
yeah,
Cat with giant ass, giant boobs, but and
Big ass
abs.
Oh,
But
forget about it. That's one thing that I'm going to say about the old school cartoons, especially Spider-Man and his amazing friends, man. Firestorm. Whoa. Yo, whoever drew her, I love you guys. Yo, that was.
Spider's Lair hit
popping
puberty really
everywhere.
fast.
She was popping everywhere. I was like, look at Firestorm.
Oh wait, I just
Shit.
saw a thumbnail with the black cat on it. I was like, damn, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they drew them pretty sexy. So they didn't
Hey,
skimp
to
on
be
the
honest,
ladies.
I bet you anything Chris as a teenager was like, oh yeah.
By the time I was a teenager, that was off the TV, and there was no like streaming service to watch it on. So
Yeah,
I was screwed until it got to Disney Plus.
Kids these days won't even know. We had to
No.
fucking wait. We had to fucking wait like months on end to get that shit.
Yep. If you missed an episode, you had to try to catch it on a rerun.
Yeah, even
I
like
think I was.
even for movies, like we had to wait like about like a couple of years or so to get that shit on
Yeah,
TV.
that's true.
But now they're putting it on TV earlier. I'm like, god damn.
So
I think when I first was watching that show, what I was doing was I was recording it on VCR back then, so I
Yeah.
wasn't missing anything. I mean, I've used technology as long as I could have possibly remembered back in the day. So I used to VCR everything. Like whatever I was not home for, I had that thing programmed. Everybody used to call me up to ask me, "How you program this VCR?"
You got the hookup?
Everybody had one, and no one knew how to program one. It's not hard. It's like programming an alarm clock. I tell people, it's all it is.
People still can't do an alarm clock.
I know that's the point. But yeah, I used to have all my stuff taped, and that was one of the things I used to tape all the time was the Spider-Man one, and I used to have it on tape. I can't find it. The tapes are here somewhere, but I have the original recordings, and I was smart. I dubbed out the commercials, so I was like, this is my first time like trying to edit and stuff. So I was doing that when I was like a youngster, just taking the VCR and editing it with it, and taking the tape, making the commercial free, and I would just watch this thing over and over again.
And then he's ripping them onto other VCRs and selling them.
Yeah, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
He was selling them at school.
It's not illegal if you don't get caught.
There you go.
Hey, back then it was easier for us to do stuff like that.
Oh my god, it was so
This
easy.
is Spooderman, not Spider-Man. Spooderman.
Spooderman.
It was like when you go to a swap meet, you guys been to swap meets, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You're like the ghetto ass like bootleg version. Hey, no, I'm nothing against them. I mean, some of them I've never seen it, but my cousins had them. And I seen like some of them the good quality, and I'm not gonna lie, like it worked. I mean, but I like it. Like the toys and stuff you see, like messed up Spider-Man. So funny.
Speaking of Batman Who Laughs, what do you think of Damian Wayne being the Robin they're going to introduce first?
I think.
Oh, go.
They need, if they want to. I would like to have had them do Jason Todd or.
That's what I'm saying.
Tim Drake. I mean, it's fine if we skip over Dick Grayson because we know Dick Grayson. I mean, it's fine that we skip him over. But does that mean if they go start with Damian Wayne, are we automatically going to get Red Hood? Are we automatically going to get Tim Drake up in this bitch? I mean, I'm saying, I say it like that because to be a little bit funny, but yeah, like it just seems weird, and I think they need to do a good job in the casting for Damian Wayne if they're going to do him first, and this will be his first live action.
I think it's one of his first appearances, animated or live action, isn't it?
No, he's been in animated movies with the DC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have.
Yeah, I like the way they portrayed him in the animated movies, and that voice works.
Yeah.
So I think they just got to find somebody who has to look like a kid or teenager that has to look and stuff. Or if they're going to go the route where he's already a teenager, because I know they do that for the games and stuff. Like he's already grown a little bit, like almost a young man. That will work, but yeah, I just hope that they make some references to Tim Drake or Jason Todd, or at least have a Red Hood in the background, or some references if they're going to just skip to this Robin that we already have now.
So here's why I'm thinking they won't do that. James Gunn has completely come out to say DC was great, but they did a lot of stuff wrong. They did it to please the fans, and they did it to please the long-standing fans who know every single story, which is a very small niche market. Not everyone has been in comics for 30, 40 years. even 10 to 20 years. A lot of people are brand new into comics in the past decade, if not less. And that's why the MCU has been so successful. It's introducing these more obscure characters, the ones who have only been around for like 12 years, like Damian Wayne has. And he's kind of saying, we need to introduce these characters in the best way possible. So that way everyone can get to know them and everyone can get to love them the same way he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because they were such an obscure group that my dad was like, that's not even the Guardians that I grew up with. And I barely read Guardians, and I was a huge fan of them because there wasn't much to read.
Yeah, I see that. That'd be cool. Unless we don't have to do like I was saying with the other Robins, at least we don't have to do like a straight up origin story for all of them. That means you just say, oh, these were the past Robins, and let's see where they are now. Maybe like flashbacks. I think that'd be cool because I've been wanting DC to introduce new characters, but just every time they reboot it, just we can't get those obscure characters. Like, what I would really love to see live action in the movie is Batwoman, but that will need to take some time to get like a grounding of the universe before we introduce Batwoman, because she comes to live in a little bit later, and she's essential because she's the first lesbian to get her to headline her own comic. So she's a significant character in DC, which I would like to see, and I would like to see Man-Bat, like obscure villains too.
And also, isn't Batwoman, because we're talking about Barbara Gordon, right?
No, Batwoman is Kate Kane.
Kate Kane.
Batgirl
So I also want to see Barbara Gordon.
Yeah,
before anything.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that progression take place from her being like Batman's right hand woman to like moving into more obscure characters and go in a natural progression, not just, hey, here's everyone. Ta-da, we did it. Like, that's just, it's fan service for fan service sake, and it's not good storytelling.
Yeah, it doesn't work either.
Well, let's just get to what you just said a little earlier about what James Gunn said about, because I do agree with some of what you're saying about people becoming new to the comic book world. So I'll just say this in my Greta Thunberg voice to all of you out there. How dare you! You need to be collecting 20, 30 years ago. No, I'm kidding. So look, this is what I believe. Okay, you gotta understand these people. What James Gunn's trying to do is he's trying to pretty much like he's trying to put the Marvel shine on the DC properties. Okay, and I'm not, the Snyderverse to me was completely confusing in a way that it was I still don't know what the original movie was. I saw the Snyder cut. I was kind of like one day watching the Snyder cut and it realized I was watching the Snyder cut until I saw it. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Then I realized, oh, okay, this is the so-called Snyder. I had to turn it off. I'll be honest. I don't know if they did that for the fans or they did that for Snyder or whatever the case was.
I think it might have been for Snyder.
I still feel though that it was wrong to get rid of Henry Cavill. I'm sorry because what James Gunn said is two things that don't make sense to me. He said that he wanted to reboot it from an earlier time where Superman was younger, but yet the Batman that he's pushing is older. So I don't know what continuity. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what continuity you're trying to push when you got two of the main characters completely out of their decades. It don't make no sense to have Superman and Batman that far apart in age. Like, are we doing Dark Knight? I don't know. It's not saying that he is, but what I'm just saying is that I think that with the whole Robin and you're gonna have Damian Wayne, I know that he's right in that, and I feel like he has I think he's gonna give it some justice because I feel like he's an homage to Frank Miller. I mean, and who is it? Frank Miller to me to this day. Thank you. You gave Batman his balls back. That's it. So I think that James Gunn feels in this way, like he wants to homage in a Frank Miller kind of style. And I could get why you would want to start with Damian Wayans because let's face it, Damian Wayans he was Ray Al Ghul's grandson, the daughter of Rhaegar Jargul's kid, and this kid was a trained assassin. He was already killing. So you're gonna get him anywhere between the
Yeah.
ages of 12 and 14. It's gonna be easy to fill this role. You can find many martial art kids out there that can fit this role. And you can even do it with an Asian kid. You want to throw some inclusivity in there? There you go. Why Rajal Ghul? What is he? He could be Asian. He could be Armenian. He could be
Yeah.
Middle Eastern. He's Asian. That's what I
Yeah. We don't
call
have to put a.
Rajal Ghul. To me, has always been Asian
I
because
always thought he was
you
Asian
don't
too.
know
Not
if,
Liam Neeson.
right.
Well, Liam
Well,
Neeson.
looking, but Liam
like,
Neeson did pull off the Asian look, though. If you look,
Yeah.
I actually like the way he did Rajal Ghul.
I
Not
completely
nothing.
agree.
Liam Neeson can't do no wrong.
No, there's no way. I mean, I would use him in this one somehow if you could. Like, let him drop off the kid to the new Batman, whoever that's
Like,
going
here
to
you
be,
go.
you know? But it's just
Doorbell,
like what
baby.
I was saying
That's
to you
good.
earlier when you walked away, Chris. Like, it's just going to be, like, weird because, Batman's going to be, like, it's going to be like they want to do Superman in a younger version, yet Batman's going to be older because this is the point of Batman's life when he finds Damian. This makes
Yeah.
him older. It don't make sense in continuity to me. So I don't understand, like, why would you not keep Henry Cavill at that point? He would match the age right now without you having to look for anybody. So I don't know. I mean, like, I hear what you're saying about everything, but I'm just so confused about that because it doesn't make sense to me when you give birth of
Yeah.
what?
Hey, wait. That can
Absolutely.
happen. That can happen. It's happened before where two white parents came together. They
Oh,
had a
have you
black
ever seen
baby.
that Maury show? Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But
no,
they're both
because
the
it's a
baby
it's
daddy.
a recessive gene. Because it's all about the genes. It's happened before with the famous actress.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? And look at the anomaly that happens in. So I'll just say that much. It's not anything that's common. When it
Yeah.
happens, you should be surprised. No, but
Murray.
exactly, not the
Hey, yo,
baddie.
Gotham Edition.
Yeah, so I just feel like you can pull off the Damien thing, but also if I don't know exactly what they're structuring it to be like, but I think it's going to be in a later point of Batman's life,
Yeah.
and they're going to be mentioning the boys, the Grayson, the other kids, like letting you know, like, all right, you guys were this, however, this is my son now, and I got to give my attention to him because he's so out
Yeah.
of control, and the other guys
Yeah.
at this point are ready to go on their own. For what I understand, they're bringing up the entire Bat family. So what I believe is going to happen is that you are going to have these guys in the background. Um, I think the Red Robin will appear, and you're going to have Nightwing. I think that's what's the net because they're already talking about. He wants to make the story based on the Bat family, and he's going to start it with Damian and Bruce Wayne, and then from there, everybody sees what's going on. Oh, he's molding into Damian. Now that
Yep.
gives me freedom to be the Red Robin. That gives me freedom to be Nightwing. You understand? So I
Yeah.
think it'll be great because there is still another Batgirl that they're supposed to be grabbing up. I don't know who she is or where she's supposed to come from. Not the movie Batgirl,
I want to see
but
that
some other
movie
chick.
though.
I
I
really
I'm
want
want
to
to
see
see
it.
it.
really,
No, it's
really
when
fucking
I tell
sad.
you that it was destroyed. I mean, I'm literally telling you that I can't find it anywhere at all, and and I know people in the industry, and they're even telling me, like, it's nowhere. they they literally just like
It's
wiped
so
the
fucked
servers
up.
one day. Dude, they didn't
I
want that
mean,
leaking at
it
all.
makes sense.
You don't understand. I heard this was so horrible, it would have destroyed the franchise. That's how bad it was. They're
Yeah.
writing off $240 million loss based
Mm.
on this movie, and they had to destroy it. That was part
Well,
of the deal. You have to destroy it, and they don't want. And even if you didn't want to destroy it, that would have destroyed the brand. I'm telling you, it was that
yep.
bad. You gotta understand. They threw so much money into this just to cancel it. What does that tell you? You really want to see it? You would regret seeing it. It would change your perspective of what happened.
I want to see
That's
it
how
just to
bad
see
it
how
was.
bad
It
it is.
happens, man.
I just want to see it so we can talk about it.
I've, I've been on productions that like are still not out. Matter of fact, there was one that was on. I think I can talk about now. Um, but I don't even think it's out yet. I don't think it's out till like March or April. Look up Chang Can Dunk and tell me when that's coming out because this
All right,
thing I worked on like over a year
all
ago, and
right, very quick.
it's supposed to be on Disney Plus.
Ooh.
And I don't know when it's supposed to come on. It was supposed to already happen, but I guess with COVID and everything. Now, mind you,
2023.
this was work that I done while we were during the pandemic, like about that's over a year ago.
Yeah.
See, so I
All
work on
right, I
projects
have
like
to
that.
go now, guys. There's
All
something
good.
else
Okay.
talking about, but I want to say one thing about the James Gunn thing. I think I'm just happy that the Swamp Thing is going to come back.
Yes.
Oh my
I
God.
really love Swamp Thing. I've been reading his comics recently in the past year. It's amazing. I would love to see him come back, like in
Oh,
live
speaking
action.
of comics, because before you go, just remember, guys, because I know I have a lot of Lobo stuff laying around. Any Justice Leagues, any Lobos, anything with Lobo's face, start grabbing up now. I looked up an Indiana Jones comic I had, I looked it up a couple weeks ago, $5-10 Raiders of the Lost Ark #1, right? I looked it up. I was like, I have a bunch of them, so I put them away. I remember having it recently thinking, the movie's coming out. It may be worth something. That damn book is up to $89 right now today.
Ooh,
Wow.
nice.
So the reason why I tell you this is because I'm speculating at the same time. This is a free spec. Anything that has Lobo in it, I don't care what it is, Justice Leagues, any comics you grab out with Lobo, grab them now because once Jason Momoa becomes Lobo, it's gonna be a freaking wrap.
Oh yeah.
That
All right.
man should have been Lobo from the get go, and that's why he's going to be Lobo because pretty much. And what's funny is that out of everything that he liked the most, the first thing he ever talks about years ago in the interview, and I think I'll if I find it, I'll put it in the link in my response to you. Um, all he talks about is his favorite character, his favorite hero out of all the DC, which happens to be Lobo.
Oh,
And it's
I
like
love
a
to.
whole 10-15 minute interview about how he loves Lobo and that
Yeah,
how
I
he
would love
will
to see
one
him
day
as
love
Lobo.
to play Lobo. But he was saying this years ago before he got Aquaman. Then he got Aquaman. So yeah,
Nice.
that's very
Thank you.
interesting. So
All
go
right.
ahead,
I'll
Alex,
talk to you
man.
guys later next week,
Peace.
hopefully. Have a great weekend. Happy
You
Valentine's
too, buddy.
Day to everyone. All
Thank
right.
you, man. You too, man.
Peace.
Peace.
No, I totally agree because there's a lot going on with DC right now, and
Yes.
it's hard to watch because it's like, yeah, I'm curious to see where they're gonna go. I don't know how they could do an old Bruce Wayne and a young Superman, but could they do a who is it, John Kent, his son? Could they do that Superman and Superman Legacy instead of revamping Clark for a fifth millionth time?
I mean, if it's gonna be feasible and you have enough fan base to it, meaning like we have to know who the character is to begin with, because you gotta
Well, yeah.
understand, when you're putting your best foot out, Superman is highly recognizable
Mm-hmm.
before any of his sons, before Superboy, before Steel. I mean, the people like us that we read the comics, we understand there is a hierarchy to all this.
Yep.
So if you can pull it off and there's enough fan base to it, that's fine. But that's always the problem is that you have to know like are the fans gonna embrace the son of Clark Kent the same that way? Are they gonna embrace Ken Kent? You don't know. I mean, is the audience big enough to pull that too? That's another thing. So it depends on the research and how you would play it. But you gotta understand, like, you gotta put your best character out forward.
Yep.
And if you want, I believe in this. I believe that when it comes to the DC, I mean, you got the three main characters. You got Superman, you got Batman, you got Wonder Woman. They call them the Diamonds. They're the diamonds
Mm-hmm.
of DC. These are DC Diamonds.
Yeah.
Their job is to take other stories and push them forward, and
And
they've
sue
done
you.
this. The problem is with all the damn crisis on Infinite Earths, and
Mm-hmm.
all the resets and everything. It confused things. It confused
Yeah.
things because it's not like Marvel in a way. Like, let's just say you're a purist of Marvel and you like the way a story's going, and you don't like what they did here. No, but DC's completely different because their story is completely all over the place. There is no one path.
Yep.
And I don't know if they did that on purpose or they were trying to sell comics back in the 80s back then and everybody was just in a rush to push things out. But I mean, the story, if you follow it, is very intriguing. I mean, and this starts back from the 50s. Even with the horror comics of Marvel, this is why you have all these things are tied in the way they are. Werewolf by Night, all that, because this was what Marvel's transitioned from horror to the comics that changed over. And the reason why these comics started changing over is because of the Comic Code Authority. So after 1956, when the Golden Age ended, now you have the Comic Code Authority, and things had to be at a way where you could
Yes.
present it to the public, but it's censored. So this is where you get all these great heroes from. This is the Silver Age, the birth of the Silver Age, you know?
Yep.
So I look at it like this. When I say all that, I'm sorry because I'm going way off track. But when I
Oh, you're
say
good.
all that, I say like this. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it as I'm familiar with the Sun and I would like to see the story. I don't like what's going on in the comics right now. I'm not even gonna get into that because it's just too much all over the place. It don't make
Yep.
sense to me. It's politics. I don't like to play the identity politics. I want to read a good story. You know, when I was reading Spider-Man when I was growing up, okay, true, he has some girls, but it wasn't about them really. It was about him trying to find who he was in the world as a young
Yes.
man, trying to figure out. Cause can you imagine having all that power and no one to show you how to use it responsibly? He has to figure this out the hard way. He lost somebody he loved, and he knows now
Many people
that
he loved.
for the rest of his life now. Yeah, I mean, but that was the beginning of the
Well, yeah.
many of losses he's gonna have in the future. But he understands now there's two things that he's always gonna have is that he's always gonna have regret and he will always struggle as a human being. See, that's what I cared about.
Yep.
I wasn't really worried about him banging Felicia or banging Mary Jane. It was fine that he had them and all, but that the what made him a good character was his human side, like because he had all this power, but yet was still a human being down inside. The power never corrupted him.
Yep.
I mean, when he messed up that one time, it cost him, you know,
Yeah.
his uncle. So, that's a great lesson to learn. I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, I think that everybody should use that as a credo to live by. Because if you
Totally
think
agree.
about it, yeah, I mean, I've lived by this my whole life. I mean, I'm telling you, with great power comes great responsibility. That's in my DNA. I feel that way. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
that's the way you should live your life. Those words changed my life when I was a kid, and it made me who I am today. And this is why I worship Spidey. This is like one of the things that was important to me because I understood the message that was being given. And back then, when you wrote comics, it was a wholesome message, and it was to teach you about you being a young person and that you're going to grow up with power. What are you going to do with that power? It's up to you.
Exactly.
You have freedom of will. But just remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Who are you going to be in the world? The hero
Yep.
or the villain? And that's what I liked about comics. So,
For
I
sure.
mean,
Totally
James
agree.
Gunn, James Gunn has the old school flair, and and I agree with you, especially what your dad said about the Guardians of the Galaxy, because I'm pulling Guardians now that I don't even remember. It's been all over the place. I mean, I could see how and why you would want to structure them the way that you did because you were trying to build up an essential part of Marvel that needs to lead into the Secret Wars, that can
Yep.
lead into other things, because they are everywhere. And it's like
Yeah.
if there was a center of the universe, the Guardians are there somehow. They're in everything. They're just everything. I mean,
Yeah.
Star Lord's father's ego, the living planet. I mean, like these are things that like are all connected in a way. And so I believe like with James Gunn, I know he's rewriting a lot of the stuff. He's writing it himself, and I'll be honest, I like his style of writing. I mean, I think that
Agreed.
he's got some good hits over the years, and I think like I mean, he's being very optimistic, but I'm not being as optimistic as he is because this is still a disaster to do this DCU reboot like the way that they wanted to do it. I believe you made the biggest mistake. I mean, you could agree or disagree. I don't think they should have got rid of Henry Cavill at all. I'm
I
sorry. I mean,
I
tell me
agree.
your thoughts on it. I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not a
unless there's
Superman fan,
somebody
number
else out
one,
there. Yeah.
and
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not a DC like fanboy. I've never been huge into DC. I've liked the
Me
Flash,
neither. Yeah.
Wonder Woman, Green Lantern Corps, like
Mhm.
all that stuff is cool. It's
Yeah.
all fun
Yeah.
to watch and great to read when the right story is there. But
Yes.
like prefacing with all that, I was upset that he said, "Hey, I'm not doing Henry Cavill. We're not casting him right now." He did leave the door open, which I do appreciate because that means that if the right story comes along, he's willing. He's not saying I slammed the door in his face, I kicked him out, I fired him. He was never cast by Warner Brothers Discovery. So,
No, yeah, I understand that.
like, and that's why I'm kind of like wondering how is Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck suing Warner Brothers because it's not James Gunn who changed the script. It's Warner Brothers doesn't technically exist anymore. It's Warner Brothers Discovery now. So how are you suing a defunct company? Number one. And number two, James Gunn literally said, I'm okay with Ben Affleck. I'm okay with Gal Gadot. We're not firing Henry Cavill. Like, the door is open. He's not saying that the door has been slammed shut. If they should fire anyone, it should be Zack Snyder. Like, Zack Snyder's the guy who went out and got everyone and said, this is my big plan. This is the contract that I'm signing you up for. And that all went to hell because I didn't have a good enough plan. Warner Brothers didn't support me. DC Studios didn't exist. And like, there was nothing on the table. Like, I basically presented this and it all fell flat.
You see, the problem with the Snyder Cut was the budget.
Yes.
You see, you gotta understand something how this industry works. I'll explain it to you real quick. I won't give you the details of what production this was, but I seen the production run over a couple of $1 million in a couple of days. Okay, this can happen very easy in a lot of productions. And with the Snyder Cut, it just felt like with that extra, I believe it was an extra 39 minutes of film, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't
Something
remember
like
the exact measurement of filming time, but it was about 35 to 39 minutes. But I felt like what they do at that time was a waste of money, and the studio wasn't backing him. I understand his vision. You gotta understand. You're not James Cameron. See, James Cameron had a vision. He came on and said, not only am I gonna make money, not only is it possible to make great films in this century, he said, but I'm gonna do something that has hardly ever been done.
Yep.
I'm gonna make $2 billion plus. He goes, I have to. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, that's just a break even for me. This is how much it costs, but I don't care because I want to make something great. And you see, there's the difference. Like, he has the backing of a studio, but has the reputation of making something great, great hits before any of us were born, probably. The days can't be around since the early 70s. But I don't think that he's proven himself enough to have had the confidence of the studio behind him like he needed.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that support, no matter who you are as a creative, you can only go but so far as your talents could take you. Because it becomes two things at that point. It becomes your time and your money. And if you don't got the time or the money, then you can't play, unfortunately. These things happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes you can have a vision about something, but you don't see what it's going to cost to produce it. What the reshoots are going to be about.
70 to 90 extra million. Like, that was crazy. And you're putting it out on a streaming service where you're not making money per viewer.
Yeah. So you put it out there free, which I would have charged at least. For me, I would have charged the $3.99.
Yep.
And put in disclaimers. We are not trying to make money off of this or to gouge our customers. This is just what it costs us to do. We have a spreadsheet here, and we're a publicly traded company, so you could see all this up on our website, and you can see what we're going through. We're not trying to recoup everything. We're just trying to show you guys that this is what we're doing. You see, a streaming service like that can not only make money, it can thrive in this economy because you have backers. Listen, there's enough of these freaking Instagram models. They can tell you they're making hundreds of thousands a month. I know they're showing their asses and stuff, but still, something similar could be done in the industry. If you're a creative, something can be done for you. I'm writing a comic. I'm going to start a fundraiser soon. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask the community for help, and we'll see what we can come up with together. But I'm saying this can go for anything. For anything. Why are people not doing it? I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to do it. It's not a problem. But I can understand, the company was already not making, facts. The WB has not made, it has never made money, since ever. It hasn't made money since it existed. For every dollar it was making, it was losing $2 every year.
If not
and
more.
Don't get me wrong, I was a big fan of the Flash. I love the Flash. Listen, these were great shows. I don't know what happened to them up to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But up until 2-3 years ago, it just started getting to the point where, you get into a show first, second, third, fourth season, you're like, okay, now the fifth season's getting a little weird. And I just felt like the Flash was having that happen to it.
Yeah.
The best seasons for me with the Flash was season 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's it.
Agreed.
I would just leave it like that. With Arrow, seasons 1, 2, and 3, and I would leave it like that. Once he's done with Deathstroke, you don't need to do anything else. Once you've gone
Yeah.
beyond Deathstroke, you just went too far. There was no need. Listen, there
Yeah.
was no need to push that. But I understand you're not making money, but people are employed. This is how the world works.
Yep.
This is why you're going to see thousands of hundreds of thousands of people getting laid off in all of these companies because now the free checks have stopped. People are going back to work.
Yep.
The coof ain't killing everybody like they said. Everybody's gonna survive. We're all gonna survive as human beings, and the world is gonna resume. So with that being said, and the world being resuming, now you're gonna have a bunch of budget cuts that it has to be done. Because
Yep.
if they want to fund these projects, listen, you gotta understand, Disney has an unlimited amount of money. A lot of people don't realize this. They do. You have an amusement park. Enough said. That's
Yep.
an limit. That's money to burn. But they burned so much that in their stocks themselves, on their quarterly earnings, on everything that they had going on, you could see that their stocks and their price and their value, everything is tanked. So, of course,
Yeah.
phase 1, get rid of everybody we don't need to. Phase 2, hike up the prices at Disney. Phase 3, let's try to throw some money at this again, and hopefully we give it to somebody that knows what they're doing. That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. No,
I
I'm
mean,
not disagreeing at all. Like,
I'll be honest. If I was to work hard enough, I could be in this kind of position. But I'll be totally honest. I would never want to be in this goddamn position. There's no way. There's not enough money in the
can't pay
world
me
that
enough.
can pay me to do this. It's not worth it. What I do, and I'm behind the scenes, and I'm around the actors and the actresses and the producers and the directors, and I'm friendly with everybody. But what I do has nothing to do with, you're never gonna see me on camera. Well, I did do a couple little things here and there that I can't really talk about, but you will never really see me on camera. But I like where I'm at because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll talk to these people and they're even telling me, "You make how much? Oh my God, you're doing great." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, we do good taking care of you guys. It's all good,
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen it from both ends, and I'll be honest, I like my end. This is why I have to wear what I have to wear because I'm recognizable out there, So not that I get in trouble or anything, but I respect the business enough that when you
Yeah.
sign something, like you can't talk about, like that's why I tell you about that last piece because it's been over a year. So that was one of the last big ones I worked on for Disney, Chang Can Dunk, and it's pretty much I actually want to see it. It's about a kid. It's an Asian kid. I don't know. He's a short kid, but somehow he's able to dunk a ball. Everybody saw it. He was happy. I don't know. Kid gets lazy. He starts to fall off. He can't do it anymore. It's a bunch of. It's like one of these Disney Plus movies. It looks like it's interesting. And I'll tell you, when we are talking about Damien, this is why I bring up Chang Can Dunk. I remember why I brought it up because there's an actor on there. I forget his name. All right, and I was real good friends with this guy too. Well, I know his name. I don't want to put his name out there, but I can tell you this much: he's in the movie. He's Chang's friend, and this man could be. I'm telling you, when I saw him, I thought he was 14. He was like
Oh,
26, 27. He was like 26, 27. I don't know if he pulled the pick or not, but he looked like a teenager. And he was
that's
a
crazy.
full. He was like, "Yo, man, let's go get some drinks later." I was like, "Yeah, man, I'll get some drinks with you if I could ask your mom for permission."
So there is no official release date. It's just coming
But you
out
see it
sometime
up
this
there,
year.
though.
Yep.
Right, but you do see it up there. So this was supposed to be something that was out like a long time ago. I don't know
That's
what's
what I'm
going on with it.
seeing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. There was some reshoots on that, and this is just an example of what Disney does. So I'm just letting you know, like I've seen a lot of these things from being up personal in there, and I know, and I've met some of the actors. So that kid, anyway, he could be the perfect Damien Wayans. I'm telling you right now, he's got the
Did
height,
you?
he's got the charisma, he's got everything that you would need. Like he's the kind of he could play a
Yeah.
kid. He played a teenager, and I'm like, you're 27. Let's go get a freaking beer.
Did you have anything to do with Sneakerella?
No,
Okay,
didn't have
just curious.
anything to do with that. No, no, no. I mean, it's weird. Like, can't we talk about a lot of stuff like that? Okay, well, there was one I worked on too that's out, and I worked on it. It's called it should be on Netflix now actually. Lyle Lyle Crocodile. I don't know if you heard
Okay,
about that,
never heard about it.
but Lyle Lyle Crocodile is from an old book that was out in the
Okay.
'60s. about a singing crocodile. It's like a kids movie, but what's cool about this is it's not a cartoon. It's like a live animation, and it's a freaking
Interesting.
singing crocodile, but it could sing, and it's cool because I'll put it to you like this. I'm gonna give you the perfect thing for you to watch with the family. That I would watch with my family for sure.
Okay.
Lala Crocodile. You got kids. They like fantasy. You want to be entertained as adults and children. Um, that movie I recommend. It was weird
Sweet.
because I was kind of working on that movie and the other one I was talking about almost simultaneously. Not
Okay.
exactly at the same time, but
Yeah.
within like I believe a week or two later, that was the next project. So that's how my life rolls.
Very
But
cool.
I would recommend that movie and let me know if you do see it, like if you like it or not. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't watched it yet. Um, I know all the stars on there, and I got real close with a lot of the people over there, and I give a shout out to them. They know who they are, and
Will do.
I just gotta pop it in and watch it, because I'd be
Yeah.
so busy because I'm doing my own production now. Like I didn't know this was gonna happen to me. I didn't know I was gonna start making a YouTube channel. This is just more like a hobby for me at
Yeah.
first.
Same.
Pandemic, I was like, oh, for a couple of months, jobs closed
Yep.
down. What am I gonna do, right? Like
Yep.
everybody else. Hey, there's this YouTube thing, and I looked at it. I was like, oh wait, you can change all the settings. And then my fiance is like, well, why don't you just put the spiders layer up there? You're always saying you have the spiders layer, and I was like, oh, that's it, the birth of the spiders
Perfect.
layer, and that's it. So it's like the collection that you see behind me. I've had a lot of it throughout the years. Some of it I bought. The majority of stuff, um, I had, and I started to store away for years because I have a
Okay.
basement, right? And it was like one of those wrecked basements. I eventually did it. I was gonna do that originally and make that my comics lounge. Not your comics lounge. But that's why when you said the comics lounge, I was like, yes, yes. I was that close. So I wound up having this extra office upstairs, and it was like not an office, more like a bedroom. It could be a bedroom and an office. It's one of those type rooms.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I was talking to my friends, and my friends know about my art, and they know about my collection, and my fiance they were just like, yeah, you should just make that into your decorative room that you want to. I was like, yeah, like my spiders layer I always wanted to make, and that's how I started doing this. Now
Nice.
I have an extension to the layer. I haven't showed you. I'm going to show it soon because there's
Okay.
two images. There's images that I have there. It's based on the spiders layer, but they're not copywritten images yet. I don't want to show them until they're copywritten because these images are so hot. It's gonna look good on anything, clothes, comics, whatever I put it on.
Yeah.
I'm good with
That's awesome.
design. I'm good with design, so I came up with some concepts and designs, and I threw these concepts at my artist. I have a hidden artist, Nico Artist Supreme. Shout out to you, Nico Artist Supreme. No one knows who or what Nico is, but it's all good though.
For
Nico's
sure.
gonna stay hidden. Because
Hey,
I respect.
best kept secrets, right?
there's three there's three artists I know that are hidden. That's her. There's another one called Old School, but his name is Jean. Oh man, what is his name? Jean. No, I don't even. I know his first name is Jean, but I just call him Old School.
Okay.
And Remzi is another one, and Nico. Remzi's a good artist too. If you ever see Remzi's stuff, I'm trying to find his $2 bill he did for me. I got like a $2 bill done by MC, and it's all sealed up. It's
Nice.
real nice. So these are artists. The reason why I like these artists is because old school's more like out there, but
Yeah.
Ramsey and Nico Artist Supreme are kind of like the hidden. Like they put their stuff out there, but no one knows who they are. You don't know. I could be Nico Artist Supreme. Imagine that. I won't say I will, but that would be sick, right? I'm sitting here talking about this hidden artist, and then I could just go into my real world and take off all my stuff, and then Nico's here. And then I come back and I tell you guys about Nico. You never know, it could be me. Hey, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Nah, I wish I had that kind of talent. I'm glad I don't have that kind of talent because if I had that kind of talent, I wouldn't be making a YouTube channel right now.
Yeah.
So it's good to know people that have talents and they're
Yeah.
good at their stuff. I say let everybody flow to
100%.
what they know. And I like to work with different people, different creators and stuff. Oh, congratulations on the push on the channel. Our channels are just keep going up.
Dude,
My
they
channel's
keep
just
thriving. It's crazy.
I'm telling you. I'm telling everybody. Shorts, shorts, shorts. I'm
Yep.
telling you, this is how you build the channel. We getting the audiences coming together. Sometimes I see like maybe this happens to you, so I'm gonna ask you this question. So sometimes I'll put something up, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe the clip will have a piece of music in it I didn't recognize was a copyright claim. I
Yep.
notice sometimes if I get one or two of those, that it's not bad to have, but I do notice this. Tell me if this happens to you or not, and then I'm gonna ask other creators. Do you
Okay.
notice the traffic slowing down a little after that happens?
A little bit.
Right. It'll happen for like a day or two and then picks back up.
Yep.
Because I had like about 5 shorts and I put them up during this time. And I'll show you later. I'll send it to you the IG so you can see for yourself. But there were points where they were up there for 2, 3 days, and all of a sudden out of nowhere they just start spiking. That happens to you?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of like growth and then
Yeah.
flatline, or like no growth and then it grows and then
Well,
flatlines. I
that's what I'm
haven't
talking
seen
about.
like that step. Like there's been one or two videos that have kind of like just kind of stepped up randomly and then stepped up again and then like just continuing to take little steps to big
Yeah.
numbers. But
I
like
had a
nothing's really popping, I guess is the best way to put it. The one video I posted today, it was like at 50 views after like 30 minutes. And then I
right.
got home and it's at like 1.3 thousand an hour later. I was like, where the hell did all those views come from? Like, because
Yeah,
I'm watching it in real time at work, like seeing how it's doing in like on my second screen, like having it off to the side, like, oh, sweet. 30 minutes in, we're at 50 views. That's cool. And then all of a sudden I leave work, go home, and it's like, where did all these views just come from?
I just put up a new one. Like I took Tom Holland's face because I know you like Tom Holland. That's your boy.
No.
No, not Tom Holland. Andrew Garfield, right? And
Andrew Garfield, yep.
yeah, that's your boy, Andrew Garfield.
I
And I
like Tom
took his
Holland,
face.
but Andrew Garfield's
No,
my
no,
boy.
God, that's your boy. See, look, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I like Tobey Maguire, right? And I'm
Yep.
not a fan of Part 3 at all. Not his fault.
No one is.
But we did. But if it wasn't for that movie, we would have never got the greatest meme to ever live, which is Bully Maguire,
Agreed.
which he discovered recently. And I noticed you can't hashtag Bully Maguire no more.
Really?
Try it. Try it and see. You know how you put in a hashtag and you'll see millions of people on it?
Yep.
Put it in, and I'm telling you, nothing comes up anymore. That's why I've been putting his name in the header.
Weird.
But it's all good though. That what I put up, the Andrew Garfield one, that's Ant-Man. That did like about 1,142 views in an hour. But like, yeah, for the first 30 minutes, nothing. It was like 2, 5, and then like I'm coming upstairs to put everything together in the office, and then all of a sudden, like at 9:30, it just starts to shoot up. It's just weird metrics, you know. Like it's, I don't know. This algorithm flows weird. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the best way to describe this algorithm. I think it's two things: what's hot in the moment and what songs catch as well.
Yep.
So I was able to construct a couple things that the songs were catchy at the same time, meeting with with all of the suggestions of what you should be hashtagging your videos, which I say like this. Whenever I'm putting up media, especially for my Spider-Man stuff, I just usually put Spider-Man. I just hashtag that. I put shorts and short in the title, and I'm good. And then later on, I'll go back in there, add my own other tags. You know, you can do all that. I mean, I put it to like this. It's time consuming to do it. I think it's worth tagging it all up if you gotta just do it, get it out the way. Sometimes I get back to it and do it. But I just look at it like this, like I just do these 3 little hashtags and then pretty much, you know, it'll do its own thing. But yeah, I used to get way more views on shorts than this, and I'm not complaining about it. The views have gone up, but
Yeah.
also when it slowed down the other day, I don't know if we talked about this or you remember the conversation, but you know that Twitter was back on Capitol Hill, right? Like the
No.
Senate was.
They did more with that stuff.
Oh my God! So apparently, I'm not
can't.
sure. I'm not sure. I'm not a politician. I'm not. I'm just
I
saying
never
this
will
because it
be.
relates. The only reason why I bring this up is because it relates to YouTube. It relates to everything. That's why I bring this up. So she's a sitting senator. I'm not sure she's a Democrat or Republican. She's some black-haired lady, and because that's how bad. I don't even follow politics like that. I don't even care. Like I don't follow it, so I don't want to know. So she's got black hair. She's from Arizona. I don't know, and she said that she had these 4 execs on Twitter, and she had them admitting to her that they blacklisted her, and she said that this is a serious offense because you violated the First Amendment by you blacklisting the sitting members of Congress. You kept me from my constituents intentionally, and they're actually talking about giving these guys prison time. Would I love to see that? Oh hell yeah. I would love to see that. See you later, man. Would I love to see that? Yes. I would love to see these people do it. But the reason why I bring that
Hell
up is
yeah.
because I noticed during that time everything got slowed down, then it picked back up. And
Yep.
I know that this has something to do with the YouTube, Twitter, um, Instagram, they all walk out at this point because whenever they're talking about them, they just get that tight ass and they just tighten up. Everything gets shut down and
Yep.
your stuff starts to slow down. I've known people who were losing subscribers at this point. I mean,
Wow.
I would lose one or two here or there.
Yeah.
Well, I knew people who were losing hundreds of subscribers.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
what are you doing? Who knows what you're saying? You gotta be careful everything you do. I get it. This is a sensitive platform, and I understand that. I can play within the rules and the confines and the
Yeah.
constructs of it. I understand that. But when you got like this insanity going on, where it's just like you can't keep track of all of what to say, what
Yeah.
not to say. You couldn't say COVID back in the day. That would get your video banned. Now you can say it's okay
Yep.
because no one's a scientist, but everybody knew what's good and bad for you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just a weird world that we live in now because I think for the first time in life, I feel like getting my news from the YouTubers is more reliable than getting my
Agreed.
news from anywhere else, and that's from all media, all forms of
Yep.
it, politics, right down to my entertainment. That's what I believe. I believe that we are, as YouTubers, are the future of what TV's gone. It's
Yeah.
eventually gone. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you really sat down and watched TV? I mean, really sat there and just put on the local
Legit
channel.
TV? Hardly ever.
Legit TV.
Yep. Hardly
Legit
ever.
TV. That's my point.
That
So
that's
if you're
a
not
that's an
watching
old
it,
school generational thing. Like my in-laws watch that stuff. Even my own grandmother doesn't watch the news anymore. She gets news from like Facebook news sources, social like other social media platforms because it's like and she was just like, I'm so sick and tired of it. All it is drama and BS. And like I'm like, okay, grandma.
but that's the point. You see, because she figured it out, like most people figured out. You
No.
have specific likes. You can go to those likes. Like what we do, we collect comics. We talk about
Yep.
comics, so people can come here and see, and they can learn from us, and we can share the knowledge of with the community. This is the things that I like about things like this. Like I trust us more than I would trust
Yeah.
Sotheby's talking about comics because it's not just something that we're doing because we want to be cool no, we love comics. We collect
Yep.
comics. I mean, it's
So we
something that
talk comics.
yes, exactly. I mean, wouldn't you? So that's my point. So why would I want to be on? Why would I want to hear on TV what you think about comics? You people are gonna have a whole bias agenda into it
Yep.
to begin with. It's a silly habit. It's a silly hobby. I used to be told all the time, okay, oh, you're comics, man. You're wasting your money. You're wasting your money. What are you doing? They're never gonna be worth anything.
Yep.
And the one of my friends who told me that he was in my house a couple months ago, and I pulled out the two books that he told me weren't going to be worth money, and I showed him what they were worth now. He almost fucking died. He was like, "I'm so glad you didn't listen to me." I laughed right in his face because I try to
Yeah.
tell people this is going to be worth something. Just buy it. Don't worry about it. Like, I have people I knew who, since they were young, I always try to get them into comics. Now they wait. They're in their 30s. They want to collect them. I'm like, all right, it's not too late. But I was giving you
Yep.
comics when you were 18. You don't want them.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's the comics. I was giving them Deadpool #1. Here's Deadpool. Take it.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
My
Got 20 of them.
my local tattoo artist had
Mhm.
his house. I don't know how much it's worth,
Yes.
but I do know that his comic collection is probably worth almost double
Nice.
because
Nice.
he's 40 years old. He's been collecting since he was 10. Like he has multiple Hulk 181s. I think one of
Oh,
them's
good for
graded
him.
at
That's a
like a
good grab.
9.2. Like
Oh
he's
man, that's a
got
money book.
significant. Yeah, he's got a
That's a
rider
money book.
on top of like collectibles insurance on that house because he does so well for himself. Like he's taking care of those books. He collects toys mostly. He's huge into horror. Next time I'm at his shop getting a tattoo, I'll take a picture and send it to you of all the stuff he's got.
Yeah, that's what's up.
He's got like from Ghostbusters that giant picture of the I can't remember what his name is, but that oil painting.
Yes.
He's got that in his shop. Like that's a
That's
whole wall
crazy.
of his shop. It's crazy. But
That's
like
crazy.
that's what he collects. He loves it. So
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna continue to collect this. He's got Venom statues, Hobgoblin statues, Green Goblin, like
Oh
anything
man,
you
it
can
sounds like
think of,
my
this
dream
guy's
come
got
true.
it.
You're gonna make
So
me drive out there. I say this to you guys because there's a guy that lives in your area too. I think he lives in the Greater New England area. Mark Spector Comics. I think I'm gonna take a drive out to you guys one day.
okay,
I don't live. I'm not too far from you guys, but it's a few hours. But yeah, I want to start doing shows like that, do a little crossovers and stuff.
yeah,
Um, and I would definitely like to meet this guy. Yeah, I would definitely like to hook up with this dude for sure. 'Cause he sounds like somebody I would like to meet. I mean, I'll be
definitely.
honest. With the Hulk 181s, I used to have one, and oh man, I can't even tell you what the hell happened to it. I don't. I'll be honest. I have such a vast collection that to this day I'm still looking for it, and I've been looking for this book for like 20 something, 30 something. No, I'm not even lying when I say I've been looking for this book since I
It'll
had it.
turn up.
In my, I know it's not gone because I never.
Yeah,
I only had one book ever robbed from me, one, and I'm so mad about it. But it's all good. I got over it. It was my little cousin that kicked his ass. I had it in a. What happened was there wasn't no CGC cases back there, but there
okay,
was a company that were making cases that looked like CGC that they were snapped together like that. So I
okay.
had it in that kind of a case. It was the Platinum Spider-Man #1.
Wow.
That's the only book I'm missing out of my whole collection. And I don't even know what that thing's going for now. 2000, 3000. I don't even know. I don't even want to look it up.
Damn.
It's annoying. Yeah. The only book I was missing. That was because that book to me was so special. I felt like I had to put it in there, but I just left it
Yeah.
out in an area where I shouldn't have. It was in my grandmother's house, open area. I have all the grandkids coming in and out. I thought I buried it deep enough. You know, that book is the only book that was missing, but everything else I had was still in there. All my good books, I wrapped everything up. I mean, because I've been collecting since I was about, I'm gonna say like about 7 to 9, and I
Okay.
just started buying and buying and buying. And I've
Yeah.
gone through phases where I stopped collecting. I stopped collecting in like the mid '90s. I was getting in the military, so I was getting too much, and it was too much to carry. And then, you know,
Makes sense.
um, I was in the military and they're taking your books and everything's wrapped. I don't trust these people, and no one ever took any of my stuff. They were honest, but still,
Yeah.
these are movers, and I always felt uncomfortable moving my stuff around. So after all that was said and done, I was like, okay, now I can stay stable again. I'll start collecting again.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I used to know this um this comic shop owner, right? He was an old guy and really nice. He had a younger brother, which is an old guy now, and I was introduced to him as a kid. I used to work in the comic shop and do chores, and they would just like hook me up with books and stuff. I
That's
mean, I
awesome.
got my first pay. I'll never forget this. I was 13, and one of the first things they gave me was a Web of Spider-Man #1, and I
Wow.
was young, and I had it in my hand. I still have the book. It's funny. I haven't graded it. It's still
Okay.
out in the bar, and I passed that on to my stepson a couple months ago. He was around. And I
Nice.
was like, "Look, I'm gonna tell you the story of this book." I showed him it, and I said, "Here." He was like, but I also gave him one in a 9.2 Web of Spider-Man one because I have one in a 9.4 and one in a raffle. I didn't even know that I
Okay.
won it. So I opened up the package. I was like, oh, well, I got a 9.2. I said, so here, you can take that one and the raw one, but I still have one in the raw and two in the raw, but one is in a barcode. So I'm going to CGC that one
Okay.
day. You know, it's just that's another, what I would like to talk about in the up and coming weeks? Is it worth CGC in anything right now? Because I know that we were talking last time briefly about that, and you were telling me that the prices were just like, look at your face. Yeah, exactly. That the
Yeah.
prices are just ridiculously high. And I mean, I'm gonna put it to like this. I say like this for my CGC, and I have so many things I have to CGC. It's not even funny. But would
Yeah.
I be in a rush to do it now? I'm not. I don't think I would be because a lot of things. It depends on what moves you're gonna make. Now I'm a collector, so I'm not really a seller. I
Yep.
could sell. I guess eventually I would sell, but I'm more into the collecting portion of it because I know I have multiple copies of things, and I'm not saying that the things I have are worth thousands. I got some things that are in multiple copies that are probably worth a couple hundred, if not thousands, which I wouldn't even part with those. But the things I'm talking about are more like the $100 ones, the $50
Yeah.
ones, the $80 ones, like things I can make deals with. Like I don't mind because I have like 20 of them. You know, because when I was younger, I was very fortunate. The guy that I knew, he passed away. It was sad. Okay, I was a little older, and I went back to the shop and I saw the older brother now running the shop, and pretty much, um, they gifted me something like it's weird to describe. There is an entire group of these guys in my area, and they just gather up comics and they go through all the piles. And some of them they throw, they throw like when you see me doing my shows, I like to do them live because what happens in those shows is that they can sometimes throw in there some. I've got some diamond books in there. I've got some grails in there. Like very rare, but I've gotten them. I mean,
Yeah.
I found one time in there, they threw um, it was a Y and Future Force number 10 gold edition signed by Sean Chen, and I know it's
Wow.
Sean Chen's signature. It looks exactly the same. I looked it up. That damn book's worth like $500.
That's crazy.
That's why I'll be filming this because like it's very rare that it happens, but I'll be unbundling my stuff and they gift me these things, I guess, because I've been around since I was a kid, and they give them to me pretty cheap, And now what I do is I haven't been selling them. I've just been stacking them and storing them. But
Yep.
it's when I say that it's one of the most overwhelming things I ever had to do in my life. It's tens of thousands of I don't even know how many comics it is.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. It could be over 10,000, maybe more. I really don't know. I think what I'm gonna have to do is when I put everything in the box, because I'm trying to do everything in short boxes, and I can't. I'm getting too old for these freaking long boxes. Like you're walking down the hall like Frankenstein. Get
Well,
out
yeah.
the way, So
I've
I
got
gotta
one
take all
long
my stuff
box and
now.
it's got ASM comics in it. I was like, I don't know if I want another one of these because it takes up the whole shelf when I can
I'm
fit
taking
3 short boxes on the shelf and then put a couple Funkos in between and shit like that. Like,
I am literally gonna do an entire show on when I rebox all my Amazing Spider-Man because I have them. I have about let's see, 2 long boxes of Amazing Spider-Man plus 3 short boxes. So if there's over 1,000 books, I have about 720 of them at
wow.
least. Yeah, my Spider-Man collection is huge and it's deep and it's old. I mean, I won't say how old. I'll just say I'll give you one of the oldest numbers I'm willing to say. I definitely have a number 10 in there, original, from
Nice.
10 up. From 10 up. You know.
I'm
But
gonna
it is
send
what it is.
you I'm
Yes.
gonna send you the show I did probably 2 years ago now. When I went through my uncle's like storage locker full of comics from
Oh.
he got some when he was stationed over in Britain, so some of them are like the price
Oh.
variants and stuff.
Yes.
And then there's other ones that are like older. They're not in the best shape because like he just basically put them in a tote container and all that. But like just going through them and like having that old school smell, and then like
Oh
seeing
yes.
what these books look like were just amazing to go through. And then I was like, I'm buying you bags and boards for these because if you ever go to sell these, I want them in the most pristine condition possible. If
Yes.
you gift them to me, I want them in the most pristine condition
Exactly.
possible.
Yeah. Bag and board and show them love.
So I bought them 100 bags and boards, put all of the ones that were like worth bagging and boarding. Like there were some that were just like Archie comics and other stuff like that. Just
Yeah, you know which ones
it's
are
reading
worth.
material, like
Look, it's those ones that that are not. Yeah, exactly. Like the toilet paper, you can leave them in their little flimsy things. I know what you mean
exactly.
because I had to do the same thing a couple years ago with my Amazing Spider-Man collection, and wow! And I know I've been collecting forever. So when I took them out, like first of all, if you have a comic, and I don't know if a lot of people have had comics for like at least 20 years and up. If you
Yep.
have your comics for 20 years and you haven't changed the plastic and paper, you have to. They lose their elasticity. The plastic becomes very loose,
Yep.
and the cardboard becomes very loose because it loses its elasticity. I didn't want to do it, but I was pulling hundreds of books out and just reboarding them and rebagging them very carefully, mind you. But I'm
Yep.
glad I did it. It's the best thing I felt like. If you want to protect your collection, you gotta treat it like gold.
Yeah.
You know. But I will also say this much: I won't do it with modern bags. I would do it with well, not with the current bags. I do it with the modern bags. If
Okay.
you do happen to have and you're going through your collection, I would recommend using one bag for 2 comics, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you could put one comic one way and you could put it in the reverse way. That's
Yep.
gonna keep your spines from rolling together, and it's also gonna save you. I mean, the only thing is that you gotta understand you can get double matted side backing boards. I would. It's not necessary, but just remember as you're putting one in, one side is not smooth. It's matted. It's not
Yeah.
all the ways matted. It's semi smooth.
Yep.
So I would just say when doing that, just be careful when taking that out because you don't know in a couple of years what that would be like. It could absorb the color, maybe you never know.
Yeah.
So you just gotta make sure you use the right backing boards and make sure you have nothing that will transfer the color.
Yeah, because you've got that shiny side,
Yes, and then
you
you got
got
the
that
matted side.
very.
Yeah,
It's hard to tell like on here, but like that's the matte,
and I know that I used to do this with older
and
comics,
you can
right?
see the shine.
Yeah, I would use the matte side. This is all older
Yep.
comics. So I don't think you're gonna have this problem with modern comics, but I wouldn't do this with the older comics. That's why I would say,
Yeah.
for what I just said, if your comics are old, like Silver Age and on Copper Age, leave them separate
Yep.
because they have a tendency of bleeding if you don't do them right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a book quite by accident. Thank God it wasn't anything like really expensive. But I had multiple copies of it, and I put the backing board in the wrong way. And when I took it out to change it, that's when I noticed. I was like, oh look, some of it ain't very little though. But it was enough for me to be like, oh shit, this is like this is serious. Like, I just altered
Yeah.
the book without trying, like I can't even fix that. But when you look at it, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with it. But CGC, I put the little freaking microphone, little lens on it. They use that little black light. Like they think
Yep.
they're so cool with the black light. Everybody you can use the black light to see anything in the dark.
Yep.
I use the black light for when I want to detect the minute freaking ticks on any spine of comics that are worth money. That's
Yep.
the first thing I do. I put it right on the black light, and you put it at the right angle, and you can see if there's anything there, or if it's a
Yeah.
smooth spine. I'm just a nut with comics. That's all I can say.
I think we should do an episode where we just talk about like the top tips for new collectors. Like what should you
definitely.
do? And
Oh,
if
yeah.
you've been collecting for like 10 years, like this is what you should do to revamp your collection because
Yes,
I mean, yeah, there's
definitely.
books in your collection that are dollar books, and I would never change out the bags and boards on those.
Mhm.
Those are your reader copies. It's not worth it. Like my wife's DC Bombshells, those are front to back because they're
Yeah.
reader copies. They're probably never
Exactly.
going to be worth anything. And it's something that my daughter and my son might read someday when they're older.
Right.
It's something that
And
I might pick up and read. I've never read them, and I don't know if my wife has ever read them, but she loves the
Right.
covers, so we bought them.
Right.
Why not put them front to back, bag and board?
Exactly.
There's a
You
couple
see?
books that are in like a bag and board. There's like 2 or 3 in the same bag because or 3 or 4 in the same bag because they're so skinny and they're a set.
Yeah,
And I
those
don't
are
like
fine.
they're all readers. Like,
Yeah.
it's not worth
That's how I get my
spending
bundles. I get
$3.
them in I
Yeah.
get my bundles in packs of 3. So what I would do with those packs is like if it's a Spider-Man book and I know it's going to go to the collection,
Yep.
I would even use that plastic and then just put a fresh backing board in it.
Yep.
And then just take those 2 that I don't think are worth anything and I'll just put them raw into a box somewhere and that's it.
Exactly.
And if I have extra bags, I'll throw it in there, but I don't make it a priority because you gotta understand your collection has to be 2 things. You gotta have a priority and a non-priority, meaning that you're gonna have comics you're not looking to get rid of, but it's just not your priority. There you go.
This is all raw and bags and boards just kept nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like the rebirth like that. Like look, things like this. Let me see. What do I have here? Oh, this is all new stuff. So all this is definitely going to be bag and boarded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So look, I got that Venom verse. This was from Wayways,
Nice.
by the way. Yo, thank you,
That's
Wayways.
sweet.
He gave me this for Christmas. Got this one. I think he gave me this one too.
Yeah,
That
I
Venom.
love that cover.
Oh man,
And
this one I
definitely
think
start
you'll love
picking up
too.
your Dylan first appearances if you don't have them.
Oh, definitely going to check that one out.
Because they just announced that Eddie
You
will
know-
never be Venom again.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I haven't been reading it, but I've been keeping in touch of what's been going on.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome, by the way. Just in case you people don't know what's going on, Kang the Conqueror is training freaking Eddie Brock.
Yep.
Enough said. That's all I'm gonna say about it. When I heard that, I was like, "What? Yes, Eddie Brock. He's beyond. at this point he's beyond the guard. And also, what I really like about this is that there are other kings in black.
Yep.
And that's what Kang is training him to do. Just like
Yeah.
there's many Kang the Conquerors, there are many kings in black. You think
Yep.
that one is enough? No. And this is what I love about the multiverse. And you know what? I always say this. I don't know if people know this, but this was all started because of Shattered Dimensions. I always loved that video game. I don't know why that thing's not worth more money than it is, because that is an crucial essential of how this multiverse was born.
Are you gonna go see Ant-Man on Thursday?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I convinced my wife. I was like, we're gonna go see it as early as possible on Thursday, and she goes, "You just want one of those popcorn buckets?" I was like, "No, I don't want to get all of the fucking spoilers. I'm sick and tired of
screw
spoilers."
that. I want the popcorn bucket.
I do too. Like,
yeah.
like I love
worried
my
about the
cup.
butter, buddy.
I love my popcorn buckets, but I also don't want to deal with spoilers anymore.
Exactly. I mean, like, I'm hoping it's going to be good. I don't want to say anything negative about it. I am hearing, though, that it's one of those movies that can actually be skipped, which that tells me that this Kang is not going to be. He's a Kang, but not the Kang. And I do believe that by how I saw the trailers of him and Loki versus the trailers here. And that's going to be great, because that means that this actor is going to be having an excellent range, because there's a lot of range he's going to have to do and pull off. And because, you got to understand, in Kang's future, different things happen to him in different dimensions. And, he pretty much,
there's a whole
goes
council.
through different things. Yeah. Yeah, the Council of Kings. That's why I laugh about the Council of Ricks, because you know where that came from. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, the Council of Ricks! What a ripoff! That's the Council of Kings!" And they really much got the Council of Reeds too. That's another one that's a ripoff. And that council was pretty much created just so that he could solve the problem of everything. He wanted to make the equation of everything. He wanted to make the perfect equation that solves the problems of everything, whatever the hell that means.
So I've got, just to finish this off for tonight, I've got 3 Ant-Man theories coming out this week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right before anything happens. I'm not going to say any of them here because we could get into it for hours, but I want to put them out before the movie comes out, so that way we can then talk about them Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, no problem.
See which one was confirmed and all that.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Definitely. I've been looking for my Ant-Man comics. I have ran into some of them in my pulls, but that's another thing too. I'm telling you guys, anything Ant-Man now, start grabbing. Anything that has Kang, start grabbing. If you haven't already been grabbing,
And again, Ant-Man was another one of those more obscure characters that not many people knew about, that weren't in mainstream comics.
Yeah. I mean, because you gotta understand, like, he was an Avenger, but then, like, he kind of, like, left on his own to do his own Ant-Man thing. He got caught in the quantum realm. So it's not that he wasn't there. It's that where he wasn't prevalent into our universe, because he was trapped in the quantum realm doing his own thing. I mean, but I always wondered this, though. Would the Micronauts ever join this? That's what I wonder. Because weren't the Micronauts quantum realm warriors as well?
I believe so. I don't know much about them, but I believe that they were from
have to look this up, because I do have a lot of Micronaut comics. That's why I'm saying this. I have a whole ton of them, and I just haven't read them in the longest. So yeah, I'm gonna do some research on that. So
good to know.
That's all I got to say about that.
Perfect. On that note, I will talk to you next Friday, hopefully.
Oh, definitely. I should be around if I'm not working. So far, I'm good. I'm on vacation for the longest. So
there you go.
I'll see you around, buddy, for sure, man.
And I'm gonna be
posting up. I'm gonna be posting up my latest video. I'm gonna be doing comic pulls, so that's going up in a few minutes. If you guys want to check that out, and thank you for having me.
Of
I'll
course,
see you guys later. All right, peace.
Stay nerdy, comic fam. See you soon, and can't wait to talk all about Ant-Man next week.